Good morning. I'm Mayor Tommy Roberts. Welcome back to the Mayor's Table. Joining me again this morning is City Manager Rob Mays. Rob, welcome.
Thank you.
Rob, this morning I want to tell our viewers a bit about the new Sobering House program and the Joint Intervention Program, which is basically a new model that will be implemented in San Juan County to deal with the historical issues of street inebriation and homelessness in our community. Can you tell us a little bit about the programs?
Yeah, well, this challenge is something that's faced our community for many years, and it's kind of this endless cycle of homelessness, incarceration, visits to the emergency room, jail time, and we just haven't seemed to be able to do much about the core problem. About a year and a half ago, our police department, representatives from San Juan Regional Medical Center, PMS, and some of the other agencies got together and said, you know, we really need to look at this and say, what's something new we can try? And that's really where JIP came from. Some of our representatives traveled and visited some other models in other cities that have been successful, that have similar situations in and brought back this program that we have named JIP, the Joint Intervention Program, signifying that this is a joint effort where everybody's coming together to try to work on it.
Four Winds Recovery had traditionally provided detox and protective custody services in our community, but that organization determined that it was just too expensive to continue to provide protective custody services. And so the Sobering House is the replacement for protective custody. Talk just briefly about how the Sobering House concept differs from protective custody.
Okay. Well, the first thing is to understand, as you have said, these are two very distinct models with different missions. The JIP program is a new program coming online. The Sobering House is indeed replacing Four Winds. As one of our elements, as a resource to law enforcement, when they have contact with an intoxicated person, they have to assess what's going on. If a crime has been committed, then jail is the appropriate place. If someone's in medical type of crisis, then they've got to go to the emergency room. Those that fall kind of in the middle there, that don't belong in jail, they haven't committed a crime, you have to remember a common misconception is that to be intoxicated in public is actually a crime, and it's not in the state of New Mexico. So the Sobering House is a place that the police officers can take people in order to sober up. It's voluntary in nature in the sense that it's not where they're being deprived of their rights to freedom, the same as almost a jail type of a connotation for 72 hours.
Let's focus now on the Joint Intervention Program. How is it different from models that have been used locally and across the country?
Well, it has to do with identifying the top utilizers and saying who are the people that are been the most abusers or utilizers of services, and identifying them, getting to know them, and seeking through a process of intensified case management of their program. What are their needs? To give you an idea, we ran a pilot program back in 2012 where the top 10 people, just 10 people, Mr. Mayor, that were involved in this. Those 10 people had been arrested 72 times in the previous year, had spent 1,149 days in jail, 367 days in detox at Four Winds, and 84 visits to the emergency room. Had an estimated cost to the public of $396,000. Those 10 people are identified. 8 of them were put into the program through an alternative sentencing through the municipal court and the cooperation of Judge Lease. 2 of them entered voluntarily. They went through intensive counseling and accountability, and without the component of any supportive housing. These people were in the program 8 to 5 and then released back into the community. At the end of that, I'll just pull up some stats that were reported to the council. Arrests were decreased by 53%. Days in jail decreased by 66%. Days in detox at Four Winds decreased by 63%. Emergency room visits decreased by 57%. A total savings of $233,000. That's just taking the top 10 people that were identified and treating them as individuals and determining what are their needs. The ones that had access to family, getting them reconnected to family, to job training, to counseling, to medications, through a model of therapy that certainly I'm not the expert to talk about, but intensive case management of each of them as individuals instead of treating them as a group. So astonishing results in that pilot.
How many individuals can be accommodated in the JIP program going forward?
Yeah, so the pilot program was underfunded. a combination of the city, the San Juan Hospital, and PMS. It involved 10 people, and as I said, no night component or weekend component. In the new program, we have 40 people, 40 beds. There'll be 40 slots, and we have a supportive housing element. So we believe that if the results were that astounding with 10 people with that limited resources, now to have 4 times that many people potentially in this program and add the housing development component, we're really hopeful that we can begin to see some people get help and very good results of those 10 so far.
As an elected official, I'm very excited about the potential for this program and its broadened scope. And I think the citizens of Farmington and San Juan County should also be excited. It's a risk in some way to change the model by which we approach a solution to these kinds of problems. But I think that risk is worth taking now, because what we realized is that protective custody was not working particularly well, and the method of treating and providing services to these people was not working particularly well. So I think it's time to take that new approach. I think we ought to briefly, Rob, talk about the partners in this enterprise and the sharing of costs. So if we can do that very briefly, I'd appreciate it.
And the total cost of the city of Farmington is actually not going to be more than what we were spending before. So there's potentially a good upside here. But the 3 major partners are the city of Farmington. Our investment's about $780,000. San Juan Regional Medical Center at $535,000, and San Juan County at $335,000 approximately. So those are the 3 major players that have come together and come to the table to try something new. I think you've characterized it very well, and we're very hopeful to see different results from a different approach.
I think that we definitely are excited about the prospects for success for this program. We look forward to getting started on March 1st or thereabouts, and hopeful that the successes that we predict do actually come to fruition. Rob, thank you again for being with us this morning. It's a very interesting topic. Thank you all for viewing this segment of the Mayor's Table. See you next time.